pledge.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have an agenda. We may need to do a quick add to this on a bill. Come to find out, for our depositions for the lawsuit, we haven't got them. It's got to be paid before they turn the depositions loose. So we are going to check, I'll see if we can do this with a credit card so we can get them.
Oh, right here, credit card payments accepted.
So
We'll just do that.
we'll just add that under old business real quick.
How much is the fee?
$667.50. Just take care of that in old business. And anyone else have any changes or additions to the agenda? Hearing none. Motion. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve agenda, as amended, include that bill to Apex report.
Second.
I have a motion properly seconded to approve the agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. That is the consent agenda. Minutes.
And these are the special meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written. Second.
Same as the motion.
We have a motion properly seconded to approve the consent agenda. We'll go through have a chance to look at the minutes for the executive session. Call for the question.
Down Morrissey Road. Halfway to Wheaton? Huh? Did you say halfway to Wheaton?
No, down Morris.
Oh,
Is this,
so the Upmarch report in Gilbert?
yeah. But now my account clock's on here, so whatever's going on.
You want all of them in this folder?
Michael, you need to take John's name off of that.
Yeah,
Put
we're gonna discuss
Okay.
when, that's for the dispatch update.
Okay.
Yeah.
Becky, you want all of them? All
yeah, there should have been three steps in the executive session.
Yep.
all in the same email,
You are all changes.
Am I?
Oh, yeah, I'll need to take that off. Just cross it out.
Close. Thank you.
No.
Already knew.
Thank
you. Saved myself $50 in fuel.
Nice one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, that's good. Thank you. You did.
So,
I'm back. So I was looking at this one. This is done. Is it too late if we were to have this paid through Weston's gone through the state and then the note would come together, the restitution paid back to you?
Same.
Okay. Because there's been none paid. So I think it's hard.
And then message like this.
Can we have this one? So you can see it's in the line. Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I'm gonna do some research later, and then I'll give you a call for that.
Okay.
That's the payment breakdown, so
Okay.
I'll give you a call after your meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, there's a motion, proper second on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Everyone got a chance to look at the executive session minutes? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. The rest of these- Don't go too far over. Because we'll have to shut that off.
I can call, I don't know.
Disregard.
Thank you.
What subsection's the executive session?
Litigation.
Litigation, aye.
Next up is public comment. Sam?
Thank you. My name is Stanley Jasinski, taxpayer and landowner for Weston County. Yesterday, I delivered and submitted an official complaint to the Weston County Sheriff's Department. The complaint I filed is against 3 Weston County Sheriff's deputy and as head of the Weston County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Brian Colbert. 2 Weston County Commissioners, the Weston County Government, and the United Parcel Service, and one of their drivers. As Sheriff Colbert is the head law enforcement for Weston County, my complaint is addressed to him. Over the last several months, I have appealed to you for help and intervention against the false claims, accusations, claims I had committed crimes, and instances of excessive force which I have experienced. I've implored to you all, please take what is happening to me seriously. To my great dismay, you have not. If Sheriff Colbert had taken my appeals for help seriously, this complaint may not have been filed. If Weston County Attorney Michael Stoker had taken my appeals for help, this complaint would not have been filed. And if the Weston County Board of Commissioners had taken my appeals for help this seriously, this complaint would not have been filed. The only official who did take my appeals for help seriously was Police Chief of Upton, Chief Susan Bridge, who upon getting my statement on April 19, 2023, in regards to the Commissioners meeting held in Upton on April 18th, reached out to me in her official capacity, and on May 7th, Chief Bridge conducted an interview of me at the Upton Police Department. Let me add, some of you on a one-on-one basis have acknowledged my emails. Agreed, I did not threaten Commissioner Todd nor disrupt a public meeting, and I'm truly grateful for your individual support, and I thank you. But now comes the time for you to do more. If you, as elected officials, witness injustices perpetrated against a citizen of Weston County, you must act. On the other hand, if a citizen of Weston County is committing crimes against members of the county government, you must act. If you, having knowledge of or have witnessed a crime or injustice, do not act or choose to stay silent, you are now complicit in these crimes or injustices, and therefore you become accessories after the fact. In closing, having to now file an official complaint against those within my county government has brought me undue distress and great sorrow, but I have no choice. It was either let these actions and accusations against me to continue and escalate, or file this complaint with hopes to stop it. You see, I have taken the same oath which you all took upon taking your offices within the county government. Twice for my country, and once for the state of Massachusetts and the city I served as a firefighter. Simply, in the oath I took, I swore to serve the people of our nation and my community and protect them and their inalienable rights outlined and guaranteed within our U.S. and state constitutions. The oath I took did not come with an expiration date. So for me to do anything less would be a violation of my oaths of office, which I had sworn to uphold. So now you must reflect on the oaths you took and decide if you are now in conflict with them. Thank you. Now I'm going to submit to you my official complaint. I have one for each board member, Attorney Stolken, and the county clerk. On top of each, I guess I should put it to Clerk Hadlock to pass out. On top of one is a signature of receipt. I ask that if you would please just date and sign it. I appreciate it. And if county clerk could collect those afterwards. And get me those, I appreciate it. You know, signing MOUs and applying for grants, and signing off on payroll vouchers, and those are the easy things in your job. The hard things are this: taking and holding your oath of office seriously. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Any other public comment? Move on to a short executive session. Michael?
Yeah, that'd be under 164405A, Roman 3.
Which one?
Aye.
Motion to go into executive session under 16-4-405A III.
Okay. There's a motion properly seconded to go into executive session 16-4-405.AIII. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Also opposed, say nay.
Glad to be in meetings.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Sandy Kopp. This is Kathy Larson. We are with AFLAC. I'm the district manager and have been with AFLAC for approximately 7.5 years, taking care of the county for all of those years. As a matter of fact, Kathy stepping in a couple years ago to assist as well. Really, we kind of wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about why we're here today. Obviously, I think that the vast majority of folks probably know what AFLAC is. We've had AFLAC in the county offered as a benefit offering to your employees in the past, and prior to me being here for 7 years. So since I think 2001? 2002. So in that time span, we've paid out a lot of claims, been involved in processes and changes and things that have morphed with AFLAC over time. But really what we're seeing in the industry itself, in the economy with inflation and changes in the economy happening, is that participation is growing, and nationwide, basically. I've got some notes here, so it's worth looking down at those. But so we really know that the value and need of an additional benefit offering on top of a major medical insurance plan is becoming something that is almost necessary. And because what we're seeing is the gaps are getting larger, whether that's just your deductibles and on top of the premiums, co-pays, and so forth. What we're seeing is that to attract and retain and keep good key employees, it's almost becoming, a competitive thing to have to offer additional benefit offerings. So with that said, we've never been able to come in front of the board before, so I'm trying to think of who I've met besides Becky here. I think I've met you, Ed. Nathan, I talked to you on the phone. We're excited to be here and talk a little bit more about this, but what can both benefit the employee side of things and the business perspective of such. So with that said, Kathy, if you want to hand out.
Yeah. You guys don't have to sit and read all of these. It's just kind of a follow along. How are you today, Dawn?
Good.
You know Dawn. That's
I know
right. I've never met
Dawn.
Dawn. Nice to meet you.
She was up at my business.
Yes. All right. Like Kathy said, this is really just more in-depth information that you can additionally go over once we have left the floor. But as a thank you to having us here, we actually have a little something for each of you. Not trying to bribe you or anything. That's not why we're here.
And to thank Becky for putting up with me the past couple of weeks.
So Becky has been our go-to lady, and I just have to say, this wasn't planned, but I just have to say Becky has been. I almost consider her more of a friend because she has just been an amazing
You got
asset.
little dogs, they make great pets.
I got little girls.
Oh boy, wait, you were the one, huh? Becky has been an amazing asset to, we really kind of look at Becky as an extension of our business and probably vice versa. So we really appreciate all the help she's given us. What do you like? Oh, I was gonna say, you know how you really want to annoy one another? Just start pinching their butts continually. So that's just a little thank you for having us here. Appreciate that very much. Before we kind of go into the why behind what we're talking about, which is the defined contribution, a little bit of history. So does everybody kind of know Aflac? Everybody's seen the duck commercials, that type of thing. Do you have a good understanding of what Aflac does? Yeah? Okay. The vast majority of people know the duck. They know the marketing is very good behind the duck, but they don't know. So we are second in brand recognition to Coca-Cola, but a lot of people do not know what Aflac does. So we're here to tell you a little bit about that. Obviously the commercials do a good job for us, but they leave them very vague in, what can we do additionally, or how does Aflac work? Obviously, with the recent NCAA features with Coach K and Don Stanley, that kind of brought to light the word that they were never able to use is gap with the GOAT. The gap insurance is a concept that's been around a while, but Aflac started to talk about the gap more because it defines really what we do. The gap between what benefit offerings there are there or the lack thereof. So Aflac really laid its roots in 1955, and they started as a life assurance company. There were a few competitors in the market at the time, but shortly after, Aflac differentiated itself by putting a cancer policy out into the world. In fact, that we were the first. It was the first of its kind. One of the three founding fathers, the Amos brothers, had cancer, and with that diagnosis came a huge financial burden. Even back in the 1950s, this was an issue. And so not only was this gentleman going through, the Amos father, going through the physical and emotional burden of a cancer diagnosis, they realized that at that point, they needed to morph the business, the Aflac business, to what we know now as our founding policy is our cancer policy. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit of detail, but obviously the devastation that comes with a cancer diagnosis is huge, and Aflac is prideful, most prideful, I would say, of that policy because it has changed lives, it has saved businesses. We continually have business owners that have told us if I wouldn't have had this policy, our business also would be in a financial predicament. From those humble beginnings, like I said, Aflac has morphed into a Fortune 200 company, Fortune 125, 126, right around that marker, and it is larger than its next 13 competitors combined, so interesting to know, and they offer about 12 different products. With that said, we do have people who can get Aflac outside of a business setting, but because the county has brought it in, we can offer all of those types of products to the employees of the county. And public sector has really been a growing area, I would say, in the Aflac business. All of our municipalities, school districts, that type of thing are looking to have that extra coverage. So we're going to touch upon a little bit about what's in the folder, and then talk about the proposal that we have here in front of you. So why Aflac? Why Aflac? Why is it helpful for the business? We do have a little folder in there, and I'm not going to go through all this like we said. Just want to kind of touch upon a few things. Obviously, how it works is Aflac actually pays the employees or customers directly. So who's the beneficiary of your health insurance? Right? That's your doctors, your providers. They get all of your money. You're just paying the premiums to make that happen. What's unique about Aflac is that we pay the actual employees so that they can use those monies. Say they're not working due to, maybe it is a cancer diagnosis, maybe it's a bad accident, maybe it's an illness that has took them out of work. Yes, they may have a short-term disability policy through us, but what it's going to do is it's going to pay them those money. So what if they need to put gas in the tank, food on the table, keep the lights on, pay the mortgage bill, that type of thing? Aflac actually stands out in that regard, in that it pays you directly and you can use those monies as you wish. So that's how we're a little bit unique from standard major med policy. What we have seen is that it's about 83% of employees actually are looking for additional benefits out there in the world. And what we are finding is that people will leave a job Typically, sometimes it's because of, a little more money, maybe it's even 25 cents, we've seen it, but a lot of times it's the benefits. So attraction and retention, having benefits like AFLAC in place, they do believe, and studies will show that the more benefits that are offered and typically paid for will attract and help retain, especially those key employees that you don't want to lose. Okay, AFLAC has little or to no cost. We literally, in our presentations, talk about how going through a McDonald's drive-through is more expensive than having some sort of AFLAC
Definitely
policy.
these days, you can't eat at McDonald's cheap anymore.
Plus, it's not good for you. So, and then the tax savings. What we know is that because we follow the same IRS guidelines and regulations for Section 125, that's what a lot of our pre-tax policies follow, we can offer a tax savings directly to you, the employer, and to the employee. So the savings can be substantial for the employee, whatever tax bracket they're in, but basically what you're saving is those FICA taxes, those pre-tax dollars. Anything that's pre-taxable saves dollars for both parties, both sides. So that's another reason why AFLAC is beneficial for businesses. Processing claims quickly, this is something we're very prideful of. You know how a lot of times with car insurance and other forms of insurance, you actually have to get on the line and call the 800 number and wait in line or what have you. We are out in the field. We don't have offices we sit in, so this is what we do all day long. An example of such is that in just our little market alone, second, I think, smallest in the nation, we filed the second most claims in the nation. Our little market consists of one of the least populated markets, Montana, Wyoming, most of Idaho except for the northern tip, and eastern Oregon, and $48 billion is what AFLAC paid out of our market last year, just in our market alone. So they're very prideful. They seek out ways to pay claims, not avoid that. And then AFLAC Cares, we're a very philanthropic company in that anything that these little ducks that we buy on our own, the monies go towards our pediatric cancer centers, blood disorder centers, and so forth. So just a little bit of history about that and how AFLAC can benefit the business. That's this piece here.
Sorry.
Do we need to stop?
No.
Okay.
I'm just.
So, one of the phenomenal things that I kind of want to add to this topic is our cancer, where Sandy said our cancer policy was founded, AFLAC, that's where it was founded. I don't know if everybody knows that 1 in 2 men will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. We are finding that, every business, including the county, has your key employees. So, is it going to affect you if your key employee has to go to the dentist and get a root canal because you guys supply dental insurance? No, it's not going to affect you. He might take some pain meds and come back to work that afternoon or the next morning. But is it going to affect you if that key employee is diagnosed with cancer and having chemo and radiation? So employers are finding just by a little allocation towards a cancer policy helps them take care of their key employees. And a little thing I want to add is this year, because as you know, every year insurance increases the price of their policies. Every year. Blue Cross, right now you can't even hardly afford to have it. This year what AFLAC did, instead of increasing prices on their cancer policy, we actually increased the payouts. So now you get better payouts on your cancer policy at no change in the price. So I think that's pretty phenomenal.
In the entire, I had AFLAC when my kids were little, so way back when, but in the entire time I've been with AFLAC, not once has there been a price increase. So how unique is that for, $10, $15 a paycheck or whatever that some employees are paying for out of pocket themselves, they can have these policies in place affordably and customizably for their family. It's not a one size fits all, it's not a two size fits all. There's 3 to 4 options of almost every policy for that matter. And we have seen here in the county, we've had cancer diagnoses. We've had folks who've had major accidents and so forth. So the next page that you're going to see is just a little bit of an account review about participation in and of itself in the county. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Yes.
So out of the 68 employees, we actually have participating right now 21 employees in Aflac. And I did I emailed yesterday to actually get an estimate of how many claims were paid out for the county, but unfortunately, I'm still waiting on that. I would have loved to show that to you guys. But it kind of gives you a rundown how many policyholders have accident, cancer, dental, vision, short-term disability. And it shows you right now, just from the 21 employees and the cafeteria plan, the little tax benefits that is eligible, that you guys are available to you today. When we complete it, I will show you the tax calculator, what $100 defined contribution would do for the county. So, any questions on this? Okay.
Touches on the PowerPoint.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm gonna hand this back over to Sandy because I don't know where she left off after that. Oh, it's just the PowerPoint.
Yeah, in addition, we included a PowerPoint that we typically utilize when we are presenting to the decision makers of a business. That's what you all are. So we won't go through a lot of these details, but what it does explain is Aflac uses outside resources to conglomerate these statistics, and you're gonna see some pretty impressive things about offering benefits in terms of why this is beneficial. Obviously, employers, 81% of them saying that they feel that a good benefits package is one of the strongest influences on job satisfaction, and 34% of employees wanting more benefits in their benefits packages. Any idea about how many folks file bankruptcy because of medical bills? Any ideas on percentage-wise? I was kind of posed this question because it's pretty due to medical bills. 65%, 65% of folks who file bankruptcy is because of medical bills. Okay. The larger statistic, or more frightening statistic, is what percentage of those folks do you think had major med? Actually, 79% of those people who file bankruptcy still had a major med product. So that being said, major med is not saving your Blue Cross Blue Shields, that is, they're not saving the day. People are getting themselves in predicaments, okay? So that is exactly what this this PowerPoint talks about. Talks about how even just to pay off a deductible, for most folks it takes 2 to 5 paychecks just to pay a deductible on a health insurance plan. So they're struggling. People are struggling to make those numbers or to get those bills paid off. So they start taking loans out, draining I've literally seen people drain their entire 401k that they've worked their entire life for a medical bill. So with that said, we have 460,000 businesses that have brought in Aflac, 50 million policyholders. The only other country that has Aflac is Japan, and 3 out of 4 households in Japan have Aflac. So interesting statistic. But for 8 years almost now, we've been providing those cash benefits directly to our customers. So in conclusion, I think we're getting close to time here. The last piece we want to cover is the actual tax calculator. And I'll let Kathy describe that, and then we'll let everyone else get on their way. So this is going to discuss the defined contribution, and what I mean by that is cost sharing, allocation, kind of all the same verbiage.
So you guys all have a copy of this in your folder. And it's just, like I showed you on the little graph that I gave you earlier, what your savings would be as of now. So as I'm sure you guys have figured out, what we're trying to do is $100 defined contribution per employee. That's what we're putting on the table today. And you will find, so out of 68 employees, giving each employee $1 an hour raise. That would be a 10% approximate payroll tax. So when you break it all down, the cost of workman's comp and unemployment cost would cost the county $155,584.
Just to give
every one of your employees $1 raise. Now, if you gave every one of your employees a $100 defined contribution of Aflac, it would actually save the county to the point where they would be able to write off $40,800 a year which is a tax deduction for them. Now, I'm sure there's a lot the county could do with $40,000 a year. So, I mean, you would be surprised what just a small defined contribution to your employees, as well as help you hire and retain employees, would do for them.
Yeah, so this is the example here again, just to show you how significant the difference is between giving an employee a $1 raise or giving each employee a $1 raise versus 100% tax deductible contribution towards a benefit offering. Such as that. So, yeah, in conclusion, basically, educational piece and all the information here, we just really wanted to make sure you had a good understanding of that. The defined contribution obviously would benefit both the employees and the business side for the county. And that contribution, again, just in brief overview, will provide an expansion of the current benefit offerings, of course, that they already have to help fill the gaps that continue to get larger and larger throughout the healthcare industry. It will help provide more benefits that are provided and paid for, which equates to happier employees. It will help in attract and retain key employees. We know this, we've seen the statistics, and of course provide a substantial tax savings to the county. And that's all we have today. So thank you again for your time, and we just wanted to see if there were any questions that you had for us.
You have any
I
questions?
talked really fast.
Covered a lot in a short time.
Yes, we tried. Any questions for us? Okay, all right. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for bringing this to us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us your time.
Now, you have 3 dogs.
Oh, no.
There will not be a fight in your household.
Thank you.
On his birthday today.
Oh, she must be. She's right here.
I'm ready.
You got a full liquor license.
You want yours? Here.
Yeah.
You got the floor.
Oh, it's you.
Spotlight's on you. Come on.
So far, everything has come back good. They haven't said nothing was approved. We did have one cancel. Gateway Travel is not going to renew theirs, so there'll be one open starting July 1st. That will advertise a retail liquor license.
That's just the package.
Yeah.
Not just package, okay. That's it?
That's it. State hasn't come back that it doesn't look good, so
Everybody's in compliance like they're supposed to be.
as far as I can tell, they are.
Okay, that'll leave us, what license do we have available then?
We'll have one retail liquor July 1st. So we have a total of 5. 4 are renewals and then 1 available. And then we have a restaurant liquor and then 2 limited club liquors.
Okay. Pretty quick and easy.
Unless there's any questions for me, I don't.
Questions for Amber?
I brought them if you want to see them. You want to see them?
I read them off while you're reviewing them.
Mountain Inn. Buckhorn Bar and Grill. Cedar Pines Country Club. Pizza Barn. Weston Bar and Grill. Lion View Lodge. VFW Post 2516.
These are the ones that are outside the city limits in the county. Pretty self-explanatory. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amber.
Thanks, Amber.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're ready to do the dispatch
That's
update.
way easy.
I saw Brian. I can go get him.
Yeah.
Quick question, everybody. All the liquor license applications were approved? Okay. Good, thank you.
Who is that?
Was there one applied for?
No.
Can't be until July.
Do we need to take action on that, or that's just sort of state?
It seemed like we might have.
I think we do have to.
I don't know what it heard.
Yeah, I think it'd be. Until, do the motion effective, the liquor license as presented. That way we're covered. Hold back, it gets back, and we'll do that.
Stan, here's your paper back.
There's mine too.
You never have it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Morning, Brian.
How's it going?
Before you start, Brian, you might have to do a quick motion.
We'll do a quick motion. Where did she go? Yep.
Make your motion to approve the liquor license renewals that Ms. Green presented to us.
Second.
We have a motion properly seconded to approve the liquor license as presented. Let the record note, there will be one retail license coming open on July 1st in the Gateway Plaza. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. How was these?
Well, they're doing a sale on the steps, and that guy's out.
That's the best. Do the option there.
It needs to be.
Oh, no. Mike Harris left a message saying that road's after that lane was too
All right, Brian,
Ready to roll?
ready to roll.
All right, so on the dispatch update, I feel real comfortable where we're at. The Joint Powers Board, I think there'll be a Joint Powers Board. It'll be in their facility. It is a little nicer and it's already remodeled. We're working out the final details, and I think the plan is to maybe bring all you guys together, the boards and the councils, next week. If we can get that done and kind of present that to you. But this is one of those deals we're finally all on the same page. We all can agree, and I think all things considered, this is the best one, and we get the joint powers without it. There's a few details to be finished up. We're meeting. Well, I've got some sort of meeting on this every day this week to tie up some details.
I want to very much publicly commend you for the effort that we put into this, because it has been a long road.
It has.
And I mean, we've all wanted the same kind of things, but you have hung in there and worked through this, so I just wanna make sure that it's noted that you have done an outstanding job through some very frustrating circumstances to get this done, because we've all seen what the constituents want.
Yep.
And you've worked hard to achieve that.
Well, and I appreciate that, and, you know, and that goes to the board too. You guys have been behind me the whole way through this, unwavering, so I can't thank you enough for that.
You think this agreement will bring equal representation across the county?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good. As equal as it can possibly be. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's always a glitch.
Yeah. But,
And that's been the original time from the beginning. That was the original motion. It's to work towards that, one way or the other.
I want to reiterate too that, you know, we appreciate what you've done. You've had our support. We kind of give you the reins to just kind of stand back and let you take care of business and come to an end. That's good.
Not over yet.
But hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
It's getting better. Do you feel comfortable with it financially? Have you?
We're working those details. Yes, so far. I mean, there's still some tweaking to do, and the plan is to have all of that. The other thing on that is with what equipment they've ordered and all of our equipment, we will have the best of the best of that facility.
Fantastic.
The $2 an hour raises that were approved last night, appropriate on the dispatch side of it.
Yeah,
That's gonna be shared.
That's to get them to where they would need to be to do this correctly.
How many board members are you going to discuss?
We're looking at 5 right now. The sheriff, 2 chiefs, and 2 at larges. One of the discussions I think is the best is put a committee together with one of you folks, one city council and another city council, to elect those positions, work to elect those positions. And then the statute is there's staggering terms on that. So initially, we'll put everybody in place, but one of those individuals might only be there for a year and a half to be reappointed because it's on the statute. Yeah.
Is this kind of following the Sweetwater plan?
Kind of. It's a little different, but they have more entities, end users, you know, law enforcement agencies such.
Okay. Michael?
Just a couple things. I don't know if you said we were looking at the 24th, right?
I believe that's the date. I don't have it off the top of my head. Is that what it is?
At the fairgrounds.
It's
24th at the fairgrounds. We'd want to advertise appropriately for that.
The city is going to advertise that. Do we need to advertise as well?
Yeah. Just being safe.
Special meeting.
Special meeting, yeah.
6 o'clock, I think they said.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
That's
Yeah.
during Douglas.
So then we.
Oh, yeah, that won't work. The commissioners are all gone. They're in Douglas, so that'll have to be changed.
Well, we need you there, so we need to get that figured
They're
out.
all in Douglas.
So the plan is to get this as quick as we can, so.
Didn't know that. Can we do it the week after?
What we got.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to meet on that again. We'll call the people involved.
Yeah, we're meeting Thursday again.
Just let me know so that I
We'll let
can-
you know.
Are you guys gone all week that week?
Yeah.
We're supposed it starts 23rd.
Yeah,
Through
I forgot
Friday.
about that. I do remember
But they
that.
have court and then they'll.
Okay.
Whenever that gets over. We may be here on the 24th. We don't know.
Yeah, that's an unknown, so.
All right, and then part of our meeting yesterday, Dublin drafted this.
Oh, yeah. I'll take that first, Mike, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we've talked 1,000,000 times about a 50-car line. Anyway, we have a resolution to make that communication between the 2 buildings solid. It'll be underground. We will do it while you're doing construction back there. Won't be hanging anywhere. It'll be solely between those two buildings. In other words, there won't be a provider. We don't have to worry about those things. We'll just get it in the ground. And we haven't worked out exactly what it is. It most likely will be some sort of dark fiber. We'll run between the two buildings for connectivity between antennas and to make everything work. And then if we ever switch back for something or put a backup over there, then we would have that connectivity. So Dublin might work last night on trying to get that. That's what it is.
Yeah, this is his draft. Looks pretty alright to me. Pretty good. Brian did have a thought on what should be as far as the actual technology. Sort of, I don't.
So in the draft it says very 50 pair and other technological devices. Because there's just no way to. So I don't know how to exactly word that, but communication platform between the two buildings is what something along that line to suggest.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
If we have a ditch open, throw about 4 pieces of conduit in there so we can.
Right, and that would be continued with that too.
Yeah, so we've got all sorts of avenues down the road.
Where's the discussions at with, are they going to pay for half that equipment, or are we leaving them alone? Where are you at?
That's in the discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, we're tying that up. Remember what paragraph that was, Brian?
I'd have to look.
So this agreement anticipates that they would be able to run this line while the concrete works or the parking lot work's getting done, so there's not duplicate.
Yeah, so it just goes in here, whereas the parties desire to install communication wires and all necessary apparatus hereinafter 50 pair wires is what they're calling, for purpose of operating the parties' joint dispatch center. So I don't know if I like that name 100%, might tie us to something, we'll work on that, but it needs to be, conduit, it's a communication platform that we want to bury it, because we may not do 50 pairs. It may be a 5.
Communication platform sounds really good.
Yeah.
Leave it open for everything.
Yeah.
This here says just 50 pairs. Yeah.
If that platform could change in a couple of years.
Yeah, you don't know what it is. So I just think it needs to be somewhat generic there, because we just don't 100%. And we'd like to get going on that, so when they're tearing everything up out there, we can maybe do that all at the same time. Greg Stumpf is apparently going to do all the locates and then put a tracer in there so we can find it later if we need to, a little easier, because as you folks probably know, there's all kinds of stuff buried out there. So.
I gotta get a hold of Steve so he can get a hold of that outfit.
Okay.
When did they start that work out here?
It's this month.
They have to do the sidewalk first.
We're doing all the concrete first. I don't know how long that's
Well,
going.
as soon as this concrete back here is done, the concrete out front doesn't have to be done. Just as soon as this was done, then we can start on the asphalt.
Well, the reason I asked, I don't know if we need to just have this, if it's going to start before our next meeting, if the board if so chooses, approve it with the proposed modifications, so we can get this in place. If you guys feel comfortable doing that.
I wouldn't have a problem with authorizing the chairman signature on that agreement.
Yeah. If you could, that'd be great.
Or discuss changes.
Yeah, the only change I would make is I don't think the chairman's listed as a signature. It's a commissioner, and then the other change I suggest is take that the wording of 50 pair out there and put something a little more flexible. It covers. Other than that, I feel comfortable.
Again, well done.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to allow the chairman to sign this agreement with the proposed changes.
Second?
We have the motion properly seconded to authorize the chairman's signature on the construction and maintenance agreement between the city of Newcastle and Weston County with the proposed changes. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Did make comments to that. those guys have to do some compaction wherever we dig.
Well, we may not have to, the hope is we may not have to even affect that parking lot. Because we may be able to go under that sidewalk over there. No promises.
Depends on the locates come out. right?
Exactly, it's, there's so many things buried in there, and a lot of it you don't even know what it is, so you never get it.
Probably some abandoned stuff you'll find. Okay.
Hey, Becky, did you give them a copy of this? From the school district?
No, we'll do that when we do the budget.
Okay.
Okay. Is that all you got, Brian?
That's it.
Well, thank you for your persistency and diligence.
Radio fishing. Thank you,
Okay,
guys. I
thank you,
do
Brian.
appreciate all of that.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Go recess.
Mary Martin, who is the community vitality and health educator in Teton County, and she's who did the board training here a year, I think it was in August last year, August or September. So she actually offers two different board trainings. The first one is called Building Better Boards, and it is, she'll have to tell you a little bit more detail, but she'll work with like Ed is the commissioner chair, Becky is county clerk, the treasurer has a little bit, and it goes from 4 to 8, and she was thinking like on Tuesday, June 20th, she could do that one. And then, so it's for elected and appointed board members, and she didn't send me anything else on that, but just kind of a little short agenda, like how she normally does that, of like talks about the county organizational chart, how boards can make a difference, the financial piece of that, and then goes over open meeting laws, parliamentary procedure pointers, and ethics in that one. And then the second one she teaches, which is what she taught last year, is called Leading with Excellent Tools for an Effective Board. And would start at like 9 in the morning and go to 4 in the afternoon. She goes over board responsibilities, tools for effective meetings, board decision making, financial management, board building cycle, and strategic board communications. So I put together just kind of an updated flyer. You guys can tell me what we need to fix on that and who wants to do registration and when we want to cut off that deadline and how much, and then it's got the agenda with what they go over. Mary said the only cost for her coming to do it is the cost of the binders for each of the participants. So of course, like everything else, supplies have gone up. So the tools for effective boards, she said depending on how many, but you're looking at $20 to $30 a packet for those, and then the Building Better boards, about the $15 range for those two packets. And I believe, looking at the flyer from last year, you charged $10 for them to come, and that covered like snacks and some of the cost of their packet of information. So, and those costs are if you want Mary to put all of that together and just bring it with her. There would be no cost if she just sent everything and somebody here put it together. I mean,
there's gonna be cost one way or the other, because somebody's gonna have to buy the notebooks, but that's what I have. And talking to Nathan, we tentatively put her on the schedule for the evening of June 20th for the Building Better boards, and then June 21st from 9 to 4 for the Tools for Effective boards.
And we just set that day because it's not, she fills up quick, she said.
Yeah.
So she wanted, if you guys as a board want something differently, I'm completely open to it. I just, to get us on the schedule for whenever you can, as soon as you can. And then,
Yeah, and Mary said if those dates didn't work, we could certainly look, but Nathan and I kind of talked, July gets crazy with county fair, you know, towards the end, and then August back to school, so. I can, and then, once, I will shoot an email to Mary with Ed's contact and your contact, and then she will need, a few of the things like that created some of like, what created the boards, the statutes and stuff, so.
You feel like that's something you want to move forward with?
All of that.
Training for other boards up in the county?
I'm fine with it. The more training, the better. I'm fine with it.
Those dates work for everybody?
gives you time to advertise and let people know.
And if you guys, tentative flyer in there, if you guys wanna look and see, do you want our office to handle registrations? Do you want Becky to do registration? I'm guessing.
You just volunteer.
We certainly can. I mean, that's not a problem.
Okay.
We can run a.
As far as like printing material, that's a guessing game of how many are actually going to attend is the only problem with that.
Yeah, and I would say we probably need to know probably a week ahead of time so that Mary would have time to get those put together.
Which that probably is an issue though.
The other question is county want to pick up some of the expense, or do you want to put it all on the participants?
I would like to see the county pay for it.
Is that a form of a motion?
I would move the county pays for the expense of, I'm sorry, her name again?
Mary Martin.
Have Miss Mary Martin come and provide board training, and the county to pick up any expenses associated with that.
Something with brisket. Within what limitations?
I would put limitations of the described handouts.
Yeah.
For the provided handouts that Mary would provide.
Well, I guess my concern would be if there's people that come that aren't county boards, I mean, it's okay for us to pay for the county board, but if there's other people that come, perhaps they should pay themselves.
I guess I just would have provided a handout. Is that the only cost, right?
Yeah, is just the cost of the 3-ring binder worth of information.
So
I
you
mean,
said
if they want to, I don't have a problem.
You said it'd be $20 to $30 for one and $15 for the other.
Yes.
So it's ultimately could be $45 a person. So I guess if there's other boards or other people coming, I'm not sure that.
My motion, I guess, should have stated county boards, county associated boards.
Yeah.
Not just the bank board or somebody shows up.
Is that amendment good with the second? Is there any other discussion?
And I just put on there, like, to use the Michael's room at the senior center. I've not called them yet to see if that's available, but either that or like the event center.
I was gonna suggest the event center for the
Okay, yeah,
county facility and everything.
sounds good.
Okay. We have a motion, proper second on the floor for the county to pick up the expenses for the participants of board training for county appointed boards
And
and elected and appointed boards. And with on the dates of June 20th and 21st with a the location to be determined. That's what I was trying to word. That was a struggle. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay.
I will, and then Becky, I'll just finalize that and I'll email it to you and you can send it out.
You're handling registration.
We'll do that. That's not a problem.
Work with Becky so we can get it advertised.
Okay, sounds good. And then I'll just put a like RSVP date, like the week before. That gives everybody enough time to make plans. Okay,
Sounds good.
all right,
you.
you're welcome.
Thanks.
Have a good rest of the day. See ya.
We got to put up our floor.
They're often fashionably late.
Well, we will put the Forest Service on hold in case he shows up. Let's move up to the old business. What we have here, our depositions have never been returned back to us for our court deal because it has to be prepaid before they will send depositions out. And court date is next Tuesday, the 23rd. We can do this by credit card, with a pre-authorization on credit card, and hopefully get a deposition emailed to us shortly. The bill is $667.50. What is the board's pleasure?
Make a motion that we,
County,
make a motion that we accept the charges for the depositions of $667.50. Anticipating those prior to the court.
Apex Court Reporting.
Apex?
Yeah, Apex Court Reporting.
Apex Court Reporting.
Second.
Having motion properly seconded to do a pre-authorization on a credit card for Apex Court Reporting for depositions. Is there any discussion?
It's probably not going to be a popular discussion, but we're paying for our depositions out of county coffer money. Who knows where that's going, wrong or right. I still feel that we put ourselves in that position. I myself would be willing to pay, if you divide that out, it's $133 to pay my own deposition cost, because I don't think we should be taking that from the constituents. That's my view on it.
My take on that is they did not sue individuals, they sued the board of Weston County Commissioners.
So with that said, it's got Marty included in this.
that fee being paid, no deposition would be released.
Nope.
Didn't they already release them in the newspaper?
No. Our depositions have never been released.
Oh, I
They've
thought
never
they were
been
in the paper.
You have to sign it.
Oh, alright, well, I thought it was in the newspaper.
There's stuff in the newspaper, but I don't know.
They've never been released yet.
I don't know. I just don't know where I stand on that, I guess.
They sued the board of commissioners, sued the county.
They did. We kind of told them to, too.
No, I think it's something to see me go
Commissioner McBarton did.
over his own deal.
He said sue us.
Over his own dealings.
Oh, yeah. We have a motion on the floor, properly seconded, for the county to pay for the deposition to Apex Court. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Motion carried. That takes care of. Okay. That's
Let me
it.
make sure he's not.
Huh? You didn't vote.
Well, I didn't
You
know
don't
what to
have to.
think. I
You don't
don't,
have to
I don't
vote,
have
yeah.
to, no.
I'm just asking.
Right, and next up is new business. The city reached out to us about a EMS district. There was, last legislative session, there was a bill passed, counties can form an EMS district by resolution. And it spells out in there what can be done, the mill levies can be collected. It breaks all down pretty cut and dried, the way they worded it all. It is, the most they can collect is 2 mills on that. One thing we need to keep in mind, if this is something we want to move forward with, it would be, you're probably looking at well over a year after this was formed. It'd be, well, it wouldn't be a year, but could be up to a year, depends how it falls on election time. Or if you have special elections to get it on the mill levy, once it gets passed, it's gonna be another close to a year before you even see any taxes collected on it. So, but since they reached out to us, I thought it'd be worth our discussion. They can take any action they are, everybody wants to go through that, read it, and hash it out. Put it on the agenda because they reached out to us. Ready to, with the board's discussion.
I think it's worth looking at, I guess, reading it. I think it's an important thing for the county. I know that it's gonna get some pushback, everybody's taxes going up, for sure. And we can always form a district and
Yeah, you can always form a district and,
if it moves forward.
you know, and by forming the district, it's not by any means putting a burden on any taxpayer, because to collect the taxes, it has to go in front of the voters. General ballot, or on special election or general ballot.
What, I guess my question is, what would benefit us by doing that? I'm trying to, I don't know.
It starts the process, basically.
I don't have any objections to that. I worry about the current, not having anybody, because
Yeah.
somebody gets ticked off and decides, you know what,
Well, and that's the thing too, even if you form a district, then we have a private ambulance service now, and they're like, oh, they form a district, just kick them to the curb. I mean, they're under no obligation to stick around, you know. And 2 mills would generate probably close to 400,000, I mean, without knowing the exact figures, it'd be about 400,000 a year, which that would be a very small amount what it would take to put an ambulance service together. Right. And I know one thing in here it did spell out, it would be if you do a district and form a board, it would be up to the board to go after the bills. Not the ambulance service people, whoever you have doing it, it's up to the board's responsibility to go after the bills. Because it requires you to try to collect bills from insurance companies. That's stated in the
Is there anything, I haven't read it yet, Ed, is there anything in there that stops the district from working with a private entity to help fund those services?
Not that I can think of.
So it might be beneficial too in that round.
Yeah. That would be a source of funding to a private entity if so desired that way. Yeah. I haven't read it all in depth real close either, but it doesn't state that it has to be a county. I don't think it has to be a county operated facility.
Just an appointed board.
One of the things that came out during the meeting is that these kind of services aren't considered essential. And so as commissioners, you know, when we're talking to legislative people, that's something that we need to encourage is on the state level to try to make this an essential service. That way I think it would possibly in the future, we might be able to get more, possibly grant money or some other monies towards that.
A funding source.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's, I mean, it's kind of a balancing act on that there because we all know Title 25 is an unfunded mandate that the legislators put on counties. You know,
that's true.
And I would hate to see all of a sudden an EMS service become an unfunded mandate if they get pushed through that way. I mean, that's the balancing act to be very careful about moving forward with some of this stuff. So I give this to everybody so we can read it and figure it out and, you know, keep the line of discussion open. But, you know, for everybody. And
maybe put them on old business?
Yeah, maybe, you know, but I know, like, I'm assuming it's like most all your other special districts. Even if the city wanted to do just for the inside the city limits, an EMS district, it still has to be done, the board has to be done by the county for them to move forward with it. So whatever goes through, if it's any kind of district is done, it has to go through the county. And the district can be formed by resolution. But that's pretty much where it stops.
Is the attempt to create a county-wide or a smaller district?
This was just a discussion that was brought up. I mean, I don't know what avenue everybody's even looking at. I was just kind of stating out there that if there's something the city wanted to move forward with, just inside the city limits, it would still have to be done by resolution to the commissioners for that board, for that district. So.
Keep in mind when we're reading down through this information, statute 18-3-525 is the dissolution of boards. Under the first section there, A, each board of county commissioners may dissolve any board or district created under that statute, those three, or chapter 9, article 1. So the creation of the board also could be dissolved by the commissioners, but the first step is the creation of that district.
Yeah. And I would refer on to hire up to a lawyer if it's something to move forward with to make sure it's all done, you know, kosher and legal. It's just keep the line of communication open and figure it out for us. Anything else on that discussion? No Rob. Well, you're going to speak for Rob?
What? No. I'm going to
Please state your
tell you
name.
what I was going to ask Rob, but it affects the commissioners and everything too. Jim Darlington, and one of my first questions for him, you guys may know the answer to this, is what's going on with the little illegal extension on the Barton Road crossing the Forest Service, if they got things all resolved on mitigation on that. Is that something you guys know of, or, you know?
Where we're at on that is Jimmy reached out to get it surveyed, and I think our next, I wish Michael was here, but I think our next option is then we'll have to have another public hearing, we'll have a formal public hearing, whether we want to move forward with it or not. And if we do, then we'll have to work with Forest Service getting an MOU in place.
Yeah, because the road across them was totally illegal. Well, let's do it and seek forgiveness instead of permission. That was one of my things, to see where the Forest Service investigation was, well, where it was standing on that. So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last communication we had there was before they would give us a go-ahead blessing, and the brush pile stuff needed to be cleaned up and that kind of stuff. But,
yeah,
I mean, they weren't totally against it, but yeah, there was going to be some stipulations that needed to be done before they would give us a blessing.
yeah, that's kind of where it was. I talked with Jim on time about that. But I don't know what the green shirts thinking is here on it, but I have to drag things out of them. Volunteer. The other one, well, you probably heard in the news with the BLM and the Martin brothers down on the Platte River is a big thing that they were selling to the BLM, and there's a big kerfuffle about that. There was no public comment and everything on that, and that was something that was purchased by the government. They don't have money for getting our long-standing land exchange done, but it's Interior versus Department of Ag thing too. They have money in the slush fund that they buy more land. They can't manage what they have already, but they buy more stuff. And our land exchange would benefit the public and the Forest Service for making management easier, and the association and permittees, and it's still sitting there since 2004. I was just going to see where our little thing, if we'd moved up to the front burner yet or not. And I was also going to ask Rob about the lawsuit. I think like 2.5 years ago, the evil do-gooders back in Washington, D.C. filed a lawsuit to cease and desist any prairie dog control work. And the last I'd heard from the Forest Service that, well, they were maybe going to get moved to Wyoming, but it might be dismissed. And I don't know if you guys have heard anything on that or not.
Nothing come down on that yet.
Last we knew, that first year we had to stop all prairie dog control work, and then we got up to where we can do some again. And now Indian care is our area is a lot easier than the poor folks down in Thunder Basin where they have the black-footed ferret retention area that same thing, they just changed the name on it to 3.67. So, anyway, that was my 3 points I was going to bring up with Rob.
Appreciate you reporting on what you know.
Well, if he should wander in or something, and you guys can quiz him on that, and they can let me know. I'll go shuffle some other papers in.
Do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Well,
I still have a couple hats for sale.
I guess. Is there anything else that needs to come before the good of the board? Meeting will adjourn.